You are sitting at your desk, looking at a screen that hasn't changed in 3 years. You've done everything they told you to do. You show up on time, you hit your deadlines, you stay late when the project is behind, and you've prayed every single night for a breakthrough that just won't come. You see others moving up, you see the cost of living rising, and you feel that cold, heavy weight in your chest that says you are trapped. You are trapped in a middle-class cycle that feels more like a cage every single day. You tell yourself that next year will be different, that the next performance review will be the one, but deep down, you know the truth. You are running on a treadmill, and no matter how fast you go, you are staying in the exact same place. But what if I told you that the ceiling above your head isn't made of glass? What if I told you that it's made of a specific kind of ignorance? There is a blueprint, an ancient, battle-tested, and divine strategy for scaling your income that has been hidden in plain sight for thousands of years. It is not a secret, but it is a system. And if you have been praying for a harvest without understanding the laws of the soil, you are essentially asking for a miracle to bypass your own lack of preparation. Today, we are tearing that ceiling down. Before we go a single step further, I want to ask you to do something that signals your readiness for this shift. If you are tired of the stagnation, if you are done with the almost and the nearly, then I want you to hit that like button right now. It's not just a click. It's a declaration that you are no longer a spectator in your own financial life. And as we go through these 5 steps, I want you to join the conversation in the comments. Tell me which step is hitting the hardest, because when we speak our intentions, we move from passive listeners to active builders. Subscribe to this channel right now because we aren't just here to talk. We are here to equip a community of believers who refuse to be broke and call it humility. This is about stewardship, and stewardship starts with the decision to grow. The reason you are stuck isn't because you aren't working hard enough. It's because you are trying to solve a spiritual and strategic problem with physical effort alone. You think that if you just do more of the same, you'll get a different result. That is the definition of the middle-class trap. You are trading your life force for a flat rate, and you have no leverage. But the Bible doesn't call us to be servants of the system. It calls us to be masters of the resources we've been given. We look at the Proverbs 31 woman and we see a homemaker, but we ignore the fact that she was a real estate investor, a wholesaler, and a manager of a massive household staff. We look at Joseph and we see a dreamer, but we forget he was a world-class economist who saved an entire civilization from collapse. These people didn't just have favor, they had a blueprint. And that blueprint starts with a radical shift in how you view your current position. The first step in this blueprint is the law of surpassing excellence. Most people are looking for the exit door of their current job. They hate their boss, they hate the commute, and they do the bare minimum because they feel undervalued. They think, when I get paid more, I'll work harder. But the kingdom doesn't work that way. The kingdom says that the way you handle the little determines your authority over the much. Daniel was a captive in a foreign land. He had every reason to be bitter, every reason to do just enough to get by. But the Bible says that an excellent spirit was found in him. He was so good at what he did that the king, a pagan king who didn't even share his faith, planned to set him over the whole realm. He didn't lobby for the job. He didn't ask for a raise. His excellence made his promotion inevitable. If you are invisible at work, it's because your work is average. Average work is a commodity. Commodities are cheap and easily replaced. Excellence is a monopoly. When you become the only person who can do what you do with the spirit you do it with, you stop being a cost to your company and you start being an asset. Assets get protected. Assets get raises. Assets get scaled. But excellence alone isn't enough if you don't understand the second step. The law of targeted sowing. You have a skill. You have a talent that your employer is currently renting from you for 40 hours a week. But what are you doing with that skill the other 128 hours of the week? Most people take the seed of their talent and they eat it. They use their salary to pay their bills, and they use their free time to consume entertainment. Isaac sowed in a year of famine and reaped 100-fold. Notice he didn't wait for the rain. He didn't wait for the economy to get better. He sowed in the middle of the crisis. You have a seed skill that you are only using in one field. You need to start sowing that skill where it can grow independently of your 9-to-5. This is the beginning of passive income and financial freedom. If you know how to manage people at work, you can consult for small businesses on the weekend. If you know how to code, you can build a product on your own time. You must stop being a consumer of your own talent and start being a distributor of it. Now, as we move into the third step, this is where the scale really begins to happen. You must solve bigger problems for more people. Your income is a direct reflection of the size of the problem you solve. A person who mows a lawn solves a small, temporary problem. A person who designs a landscape solves a larger, more complex problem. A person who builds a system to automate lawn care for 10,000 homes solves a massive problem. Most of us are stuck because we are solving small, individual problems. We are focusing on our own tasks instead of looking at the gaps in the market. Jesus said that if you want to be great, you must be the servant of all. The word all is a scale word. It's about volume. It's about reach. Scaling your salary isn't about working more hours. It's about increasing the value of the problems you solve and the number of people you solve them for. If you are a teacher, you are limited by the number of students in your room. But if you create a curriculum that helps 10,000 teachers, your income potential becomes limitless. You are no longer selling your time. You are selling a solution. This leads us to the fourth step, and this is the one that makes most people very uncomfortable. You must open your mouth and name your price. In Genesis, Jacob was being cheated by his father-in-law, Laban. Laban kept changing his wages, and Jacob kept taking it. But eventually, Jacob had a vision. He saw how the wealth was moving, and he went to Laban, and he negotiated a specific deal. He didn't say, "Just give me what you think is fair." He said, "This is what I will take, and this is how it will be measured." Most of you are waiting for your boss to notice how hard you've been working and give you a raise out of the goodness of their heart. That is not a strategy. That is a fantasy. Your boss's job is to keep costs low. Your job is to demonstrate your value and ask for the compensation that reflects it. James says you have not because you ask not. This applies to your bank account as much as your prayer life. If you have done the work of excellence, if you are solving real problems, you have the moral and spiritual right to stand before kings and negotiate your worth. Timidity is not a fruit of the Spirit. Boldness is. Finally, the fifth step, the blueprint for true wealth. You must multiply through leverage. You cannot scale to the highest levels by yourself. Moses was trying to judge every case in Israel by himself, and his father-in-law told him, "What you are doing is not good." He told him he was going to wear himself out and the people would suffer. He had to appoint leaders. He had to build a system. If your income is entirely dependent on your physical presence, you don't have wealth. You have a high-paying job. To scale your salary this year, you have to look at how to use money to buy time. You have to hire help. You have to invest in tools. You have to put your capital into assets that grow while you sleep. This is the difference between a wage and a legacy. A wage stops when you stop. A legacy grows when you rest. Take a moment right now and look at these 5 steps. Excellence, sowing, scaling, asking, and leveraging. And which one of these has been the missing piece in your life? I want you to go to the comments right now and type the number of the step you are going to commit to this month. Is it step 1, becoming excellent where you are? Is it step 4, finally having that conversation about your worth? When you type that number, you are making a covenant with yourself and this community to move. And while you're there, if this is opening your eyes, share this video with one person who is stuck in that middle-class trap. We need to wake people up to the fact that God has given them the power to get wealth, but He hasn't given them a pass on the principles. The truth is, the world wants you to believe that your financial situation is a result of luck or the system. They want you to feel like a victim because victims are easy to control. But you are not a victim. You are a steward of the Most High God. You have been given a mind that can create, a spirit that can endure, and a blueprint that cannot fail if it is followed. The middle-class trap is a mindset before it is a bank balance. It's the belief that enough is the same as faithful, but enough isn't enough when there are missions to fund, families to protect, and legacies to build. God didn't call you to just survive. He called you to have more than enough so that you could abound in every good work. Think about the servant who buried his talent. He wasn't punished because he lost the money. He was punished because he didn't scale it. He stayed at the same level because he was afraid. He was afraid of the risk, afraid of the master, and afraid of his own potential. Many of you are burying your talent in a 9-to-5 that you've outgrown because you're afraid of the famine outside. But the famine is where the 100-fold return lives. Your fear is the only thing standing between your current salary and the scale you've been dreaming of. This year is not about waiting for a sign. The blueprint is the sign. The steps are the sign. Your dissatisfaction with your current level is the sign. You have to realize that the economy of the kingdom is not subject to the economy of this world. When the world says recession, the kingdom says opportunity. When the world says layoffs, the kingdom says repositioning. But you cannot access kingdom results with a worldly work ethic. You cannot expect divine increase if you are being lazy in the natural. You have to do the work. You have to study your craft. You have to understand the market. You have to be so good at what you do that it would be an injustice for you to be paid less. That is the Joseph level of competency. That is what it looks like to represent the king in the marketplace. I want you to imagine what your life looks like a year from today if you actually follow this blueprint. Imagine walking into your office with a sense of peace, because you know your value doesn't come from your paycheck, but your paycheck is finally reflecting your value. Imagine having the margin to give generously without checking your balance. Imagine the stress of the middle-class trap being replaced by the excitement of scaling a vision. This isn't just about money. It's about freedom. It's about being able to say yes to the things God calls you to do, without having to check with a bank or a boss first. As we wrap this up, I want to remind you that knowledge without action is just a sophisticated way of failing. You can watch this video 10 times, you can take notes, you can even agree with everything I've said. But if you don't take step 1 on Monday morning, nothing changes. If you don't open your mouth and ask, the answer will always be no. If you don't start sowing your seed in another field, your harvest will always be limited to one season. You are the only person who can take the lid off your income. God has already given you the ability. Now you have to give him the obedience. Remember to like this video if it challenged you. It helps us reach more people who are tired of being stuck. And if you haven't yet, subscribe and join this family. We are building something here that is bigger than just financial advice. We are building a movement of people who use the word of God as a sword in the marketplace. We are here to win, not just for ourselves, but for the kingdom. Check out the other videos on this channel to keep fueling your growth, and don't forget to drop your number in the comments. Which step are you taking? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Pick one. Commit to it, and watch how the ceiling begins to move. Your salary is a number. Your value is a spirit. When your spirit grows, the number has no choice but to follow. Stop praying for God to change your bank account and start asking him to change your perspective. He has already placed the blueprint in your hands. He has already given you the seeds. He has already opened the door. The only thing missing is you walking through it. Don't let another year go by where you look back and realize you've only grown older and more tired. Let this be the year you look back and realize you finally broke the cage. Let this be the year of the scale. Take the first step. Do it today. Do it now. The king is watching, the market is waiting, and your future is calling. It's time to move. It's time to scale. It's time to be who you were created to be. I'll see you in the comments, and I'll see you at the next level. Stay bold, stay excellent, and keep building. This is your year. The blueprint is yours. Now go and use it.